What is going on, Herb? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to be revisiting the Does It Drift video series where we purchase vehicles in-game, build those cars up to drift spec, and then test those cars rigorously to see if they have the ability to be drift cars. Today should be a pretty fun one because we got one that I've never driven before. One that it's actually been pretty suggested too, but every time I look at it, I can't bring myself to buy it because of the way it looks. It's a track car, you know. It's like KTM makes a cool track car. Polaris, I think, even makes one. Now there's a bunch of companies that make specific track cars now. Could be wrong on the Polaris thing, but I definitely know KTM makes one. Ooh, and she's really, really touchy, isn't it? So a lot of individuals have been a little bit confused recently with the last couple episodes. We already know the Futo drifts. We already know these. You visited them last season. I get that, guys. I didn't ever offer a drift build on those cars. That is a big thing I'm adding into the second season. And in the second season, we have shed the single gear drifting technique, and we're moving on to the clutch kicking technique in-game. Obviously, we can't clutch. It's an automatic car. No armor, guys. Definitely no armor. No brakes. I don't do it personally. Maybe you do. Front bumpers, what can we do here? Alright, so we are going to have a little bit of customization action here. This looks like the option I'm running for. I like that rear bumper. That's pretty cool. But that, is that the exhaust out the back? Or is that a... Yeah, it is the exhaust. I can see the muffler there. Wow. It's weird. Really weird. I almost thought it was like a bumper bar or something, you know what I mean? We're going to run that, though. It's pretty cool looking. Pretty cool looking. So that brings us into engine. Yeah, she's going to be a spendy one. Exhaust, what do we have for exhaust there? Just for the sake of getting some aftermarket exhaust, we'll do the dual chrome tip. I'm not a big fan of that single tip. Explosives, no thank ya. Hood, what do we got? What do we got? Doesn't it? That's pretty mean, huh? Let's just see how it drifts before we spend all kinds of money on it. Lights, I'm leaving it alone. Lost for engine. You have to buy this thing, and obviously it's pretty expensive. I wish I remember what it was. 400 and something thousand. We'll get into that in a second. Respray, eh? Yeah, we'll go with the Grace Red there. Crew emblem, where is it? Put the crew emblem on the side, huh? It's not too bad looking. Little Hoon Stars logo. Roll cage, what do we have for roll? Okay, now we're talking. I noticed that the rear of this one's actually has a contour to it, where these ones are just, well, they have a contour, but it's straight. It's not bent like that. I wonder if that comes into play when you actually roll it at all. I'm gonna run the street cage. Oh, wow. Sell it for $288,000. Lose half of your money invested. Alright, so we got skirts. Skirt. Custom vented skirt. That looks pretty cool, actually. I'm going to put that on there. Splitters are something that I've known to be pretty acquainted with messing with your performance, so I'm not gonna do that. Alright, so here's the thing. It's not telling me on that traction bar over there that it's messing with my traction. The deal here is, in the comment build, it said it wasn't messing with the traction either, and of course I had people comment saying, oh, it definitely does, and I messed with it a lot lately, and I don't really notice much of a difference. I guess I can say that there might be a slight difference there, but like I say, it might be there. I can't even clearly tell. It's not crazy by any means. So if this one's telling me it's not going to mess with it, and it looks way cooler with it on there, that just looks weird to me. I guess not. Maybe it looks alright. We'll leave it alone. Oh. We don't want any spoiler on there. So it already has a spoiler. That makes sense. It actually already comes with the stock version of the spoiler, the carbon fiber. You can take it off. I'm going to put the big one on. Screw it. Alright, just blew 90,000 really quick there. 100,000 with that spoiler. Wheels. The wheel red. The red in the wheel is slightly different. We're going to run the carbon black over here. I'm actually going to go back to my respray as well before we get too far and see if that secondary color really fits our bill. I like that. Stone silver. I like that a lot. Kind of just looks like metal. Wheels. There's no tint for the windows because there's only a little tiny window up front. That's it. It's over. So let's get this thing to the track and let's see if we can stance this thing up. And look at this. Look at this thing. I will say it's cooler looking than it was in the picture. I really didn't want to buy it. And now it actually kind of looks like it's a little track car. It's a death card is really what it is. Alright, so we are here at the Ebisu School course on Xbox One. We're going to go stance it up. Now, if you get in on any type of track like this, no matter who makes it or where it's at, if you try to stance your car out there on those blocks, on any of those blocks out there, on the artificial map, you have the tendency of blowing up probably 90% more than you would by stancing it on the actual map, on the actual dirt map right here. Oh, okay. Now we don't know if this thing stances or not, so that's the issue right away. I blew it up in the rear, so let's see if this thing will stance normally in the rear at any time. No. Alright, so we got to figure out where to shoot this thing. Is it in the front or is it in the rear of that rear tire? And there we go, we finally got our stance. So in the Ruston, you're going to be shooting the rear bumper from the side. Yeah, we're good. No smoke. Alright. So, the Ruston will stance normally in the front, but it will not in the rear. Let's see how this thing handles now, shall we? Oh, man. Oh, no, 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 no. Ooh, this Ruston's really touchy, isn't it? Really touchy. My goodness. Wow. How are you guys drifting this thing? Holy crap. Wow, guys, this thing is really, really difficult. That front is so touchy, really touchy. Yeah, as soon as you would turn to do anything for a counter steer, it just flies you out of there. You almost gotta like let off, but then it pulls you out of the drift. Ah. It's so quick too, so quick on like, soon as you touch it, you're done. I don't know if I'm so impressed with this car, honestly, personally. I know some people like this car, and actually I've seen some people get some pretty nice skids out of it, so I can't really take it away from it. It's just like the Spectre, in my opinion, or not just like it. I mean, this is a better drifter than the Spectre, but the Spectre is like, you can't touch it either, and it just spins out on you. That's exactly how this car is for me. I can't touch the steering. I have to point it in the angle, clutch kick it in at the angle, and then don't touch it. And then just kind of let off and slide. That's it. I know there's got to be a better way to do this thing. Let me say, one of the first things I can say here is I definitely cannot suggest this to any type of new entry drifter in the clutch kicking. This is not a car for you, as this is not a car for me either. Yeah, it's way too touchy for me. Like, way too touchy. I would never desire to make this my drift car that I tried to learn how to drift, just for that simple fact. If you're saying, well, it's so speedy and so fast, the Comet. The Comet's got this thing beat, definitely. Now, this is easier to drift than the Spectre. The Spectre is, like, very much impossible to drift unless you just want to like get a couple little slides here and there. This thing you can link with. I know that that's to be the truth. The problem is you're gonna have to be perfect with it, and it doesn't handle like any other vehicle in the game. It's way more touchy. Oh, why did I do that again? Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan of this car at all. I just can't be consistent with it. Of course, I'm not spending an hour and a half, 2 hours here trying to learn the car. I'm just giving it a quick start, but this is nothing like any of the other drift cars in the game, other than like the Spectre, which didn't get a very good grade at all. I am going to give this thing one more shot, though. I'm going to respawn, and I'm just going to stance it with one shot in the back. This car is so dang touchy, too. It really is. Very, very touchy. So if you, like, get off of it at all, or you, like, try to compensate like you would in a normal car in this game, you go flying off the side of things. Alright, so one shot on the rear, you're not going to be drifting. Alright, so now we're fully stanced in the rear with 2 drops and not stanced at all in the front. I don't know how to... Like, here's the thing, is I don't want to sound stupid because people like this car, but this car is not good in my opinion. Like, this car is not good in my opinion at all. Can you drift in it? Yeah. Is it even comparable to consistency of the other cars? No. I mean, it's consistent, don't get me wrong, but not in the drift. What it's consistently doing is oversteering. Extremely easy. Like, with a slight turn of the wheel, you're turning the wheel like it would be 2 full turns. So how do you... I don't know. So that's that. So let's do the one other option, and that would be the double stance in the rear, and then we'll single stance the front. We'll just do one drop in the front. We'll see if that helps at all. As I said, the slipperiest, most slidey should be a double stance on all 4, where you're getting 2 drops on all 4 wheels equally. That should be the most equal in handling, the most slippery across the board. And when I noticed the amount of touch and that it was there, how touchy the dang thing was, I don't have a lot of hope for this car. I really don't. Now, I know that this thing runs in the Formula Drift series over on PS4, and I know people like this car, straight up, you know what I mean? Like, people like this car. So that's why I'm trying to give it a shot here, really trying to give it a shot in every way to see if the old black sheep likes this car, but so far I can't suggest this beast. Cost, what do we add on this thing just to start beginning to talk about it? Looking at right around $650,000-$700,000 to get this car in your drift garage and get it over your way. Maybe it's my roll cage or maybe it's my spoiler, but if it's really this touchy, you know, and it's those things making it this touchy. However, guys, I did drive this thing before, drove it stock, and it was just as touchy in the steering, so I'm going to take this down on the track. I think this is probably the best setup here with a double stance in the rear and a single in the front. At least so far, this has been the best feel. Let's see what it actually is like when you get out here. Yeah, I don't like this car. I don't like it. It straightens out too easy, and if you start getting too temperamental with the straightening out, then you just start spinning out. Maybe you like it, you know, maybe you want to go try it out, and it does drift, you know, so we definitely can give it a grade. So let's move into it. So cost, you're right around that 700,000 mark, you know, set up, ready to go. If you do throw the higher end upgrades into it, like the, you know, the roll cage and the spoiler and stuff like that, chrome wheels, you're probably up in that 800, 900,000 range, but just basically speaking, what the car is, 700,000, and what you're getting out of it, like I said, I can't suggest that you go get this car. Hey, I've been drifting for a year, 2 years, and I want something new. Yeah, like I said with the Spectre video, absolutely. Go pick this car up and try it out. My goodness, I mean, don't cut yourself short. However, and maybe you'll be a lot better in it than I am. This is definitely a specific style of a thing. I'm doing nothing but straighten this thing out and spinning out, so I don't like it at all. Cost, literally, I'm going to give this thing a 3. Does it drift? Yeah, it does drift. Will you get some slides out of it? Yeah, you'll get some slides. And it's probably even better than the Spectre in all reality, but I still am only going to give it a 3 in cost. So cost, what am I giving this thing? I'm going to give it a 4 in cost, simply because there's not a lot of cars that can clutch kick in the game, and this is something new, and it might spruce up your drift day a little bit. However, it's not a 5, it's not a 6, it's nowhere near the competitive range. It's not something that I would suggest bringing into competition unless you really, really are practicing in this car and have it down very, very well, because in my opinion, I don't see this thing competing with Rapid GT and Comet at all. But it is sports class, it does clutch kick, and it does have some speed to it too, so I'm thinking if you can figure out how to keep that good lock and just roll it, maybe you can make this thing good and successful for yourself. But for me, the Black Sheep, Not gonna happen. A 4 in cost. That brings us into driftability, and we just talked about the driftability. So throttle control really has to come into play. See how it straightens out, and then you try to make up for it, and then you just go spinning out. Oh, that's you, Black Sheep. You suck at drifting. Yeah, okay, I get you. Yeah. So yeah, in my opinion, this car is kind of frustrating because people, you know, do enjoy this car, and some people are actually somewhat decent in it too. I've seen a couple of people on PS4 actually ripping up on this car, and I was like, all right, we got to try this thing. Like I said in the first season, people are going to judge these things different to their own self. Some people might give this thing an 8 or a 9, a 10 in driftability, but for the oversteering and the touchiness to it, I wouldn't even begin to justify a 5 out of this car. The speed is what's getting it a little bit out of it, and the ability that I can clutch kick and keep a burnout is another ability that's getting it some points. So I'll give it a 4, alright? That's a 4 in cost, a 4 in driftability, which brings in efficiency. Now, you are going to have to stance this car in an odd way. You can stance the front normally, traditionally, by just shooting the center of the hub there. Well, just below the center of the hub. But the rear, you need to shoot the bumper, and I noticed that when I shot the bumper, it makes it kind of, if you can see it there, hanging off. It's hanging off there because you shot it. So that's kind of a bummer. You got to shoot the rear bumper, and then it makes the rear bumper hang off. So here, let's try a little single gear drifting and see if that's possible in this beast, shall we? That's definitely possible, but even there, it's extremely touchy. I haven't been doing much of this lately, so it's... Yeah, so this is a single gear driftable car, but even there, it's really touchy on the steering as well. Alright, so efficiency, I'm going to give it a 3. That's going to give it a total of an 11 score for the Ruston, the Hijak Ruston Hijak, whatever it is. Not a car for the Black Sheep, alright? Now, if you guys like this thing, I'm not, like I said, I'm not cutting you short. I'm just trying to give you my best opinion, give you the reasons on why I came up with that opinion, so you guys know what to expect when you get into the car if you decide to get into the car. Remember, this thing's going to cost you a little bit to get into, so definitely keep in mind what I said about the handling and what you can do with the stancing and whatnot to kind of change it up. Now, I could go back to Los Santos Customs and take my roll cage off and change the front bumper and the rear bumper and just try to get something better, but I tested the stock car and just driving it, and it was extremely touchy, and that's what's leading to the odd driftability on this thing. So, I'm not going to go do that. I'm not going to waste my time, not going to waste my money. I'm hoping for something cool to come out in this new update here mid-December, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to waste my money on it. So as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and thanks for joining the herd. We got a lot of new stuff to come on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so hopefully you guys are willing to stick around here as we move into the future. Keep your eyes and ears open for the Black Sheep TV Discord page. It's making me do one through Patreon, and let's get that out there for the public so they can kind of join into this app, and I will be posting on there basically when I'm looking to be online, when events are, anything that's going on in the community, and we're also going to be trying to push forward with some new things over here on Xbox One as well for the drift community. So definitely appreciate you all liking, comment, and subscribe, and doing whatever you're doing to support the channel. It is working. I definitely appreciate all of you guys. As always, I hope you all stay happy, stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.